Hey, what is everyone? It is Action Predator here. It is right now Monday, Columbus Day. I'm recording this really early because I'm packed for the week. And I had an endoscopy today, so if I'm not sounding loud enough, I'm sorry. I will try to edit the video a little bit to make it so you can hear me properly. But welcome to Call of Duty Fridays, and I want to talk on a more serious note today. But very quickly in the background, it's a 30 and 20, something like that, somewhere in that area. Call of Duty 4 Domination. This is like one of my first games back from like a month ago. I'm really surprised at how well my capture card captured this. I mean, it really has been capturing really well, nicely, and the audio is pretty good. So I might leave the gun sounds in the background to break it up, or I might just play some sexy and no background music. I don't know, something nice. You hear it starting now if it is. But I want to talk about Call of Duty and why they get boring, like why Black Ops has no life to it, and why we have this problem getting stuff balanced, and why we can never have the next COD 4. Now, it's always started with this notion where no Call of Duty has been balanced other than COD 4, and even with COD 4, people still complain about the M16, the frag grenades, and then the deagle, outshining everything, and stopping power. Now, all those were blacked out and saying that's not legitimate, except for stopping power, because it ended up taking it off after Modern Warfare 2. For some reason in COD 4, it was balanced because of Juggernaut, but in my opinion, every other perk was underused, except for stopping power, Jug, or Overkill. They literally had no purpose because of the strength of the guns. Now, that was fine with the community, because there was no need for these complex kill streaks. Everything was fine. Now, as far as the guns go, the P90 was shining bright in COD. The only reason it wasn't really huge and complained about was because of the fact that MLG had never picked it up. The M16 outshined it in a lot of classes, and so the MP5, even though the P90 had that, didn't have very good iron sights. But if you think about it, the one thing that always shined out, even when the game came out, was frags. People always bitched about frags. I never really complained about it, but that's just me. Some things don't bother me in Call of Duties, such as the FAMAS or the AK-47 or the UMP. But those are my opinions. And in my opinion, the reason we have never got to the point since COD 4 to be balanced is because we're looking too hard. And the community change. I've always had this notion and this feeling that when World at War came out, because of the fact that parts were out there, and the fact that it was an Infinity Ward game, that was my first Treyarch game. I think that was the first one they ever made. Other than, I think I had COD there. I don't think that was Treyarch though. But anyway, they had it where it was just to the point where, there was no one backing them up. There was no community. Actually, I'm proud of one of those people who would run around with Juggernaut, MP40, Bandolier, Round Drum, and just tearing house. And I would hate Jug, and since we were COD 4 players, we would bash him for it. But then again, in GB, I wouldn't give a damn. But it's a whole different thing, because if you go into MLG and GB, I think those are where you find the most balanced Call of Duties in a certain respect, because there are rules, there are limitations to what you can and can't do, such as you can't use second chance, you can't use these certain things that make the game sort of overpowered, and the focus is more on gun. But in every other Call of Duty, not only have the kill streaks gotten, sorry about that, but the whole non-community being there, and this whole new generation of gamers came up, and to hang with everyone from COD 4 who's good at the game, Treyarch gave them too much for them to handle. And then YouTube coming out also kind of hurt it a little bit, and kind of helped Call of Duty. It hurt it in the fact that the exploits of the guns were being told. Everyone knew what the exploit was, and basically what was wrong with it. And then when it started to evolve into Modern Warfare 2, the whole people that were exporting in World at War, they didn't have any regulations. They had no downsides to be, to basically be messing with. And with this whole YouTube phenomenon going on, it kind of messed it up. Then when you go to Modern Warfare 2 days, it happened that basically people started to sort of, I know I'm gonna get flamed for this, but I mean, people like Zergriz started coming out with montages, all this stuff. Montages came out, and this younger generation was like, this is awesome, I want to be like him. And back in COD 4, people were trying to emulate the pros, back in not really World at War, but people were trying to be like these pro players, they wanted, that was the thing back then, to be a pro, be really good at the game, do really good in lobbies. And then Zergriz and all of them started coming up montages, and people started to try to emulate them, to the point where if they couldn't do it, it wasn't them, it was the game. Something was unbalanced, or it was you. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to quickscope and search and destroy lobbies every once in a while. I would go for montage. I mean, I have a montage out. That doesn't mean that's all I was doing. When we were winning, that was what I was doing. Or I'd play half the game doing that, and I'd still try to win. But I would never complain that's bull because I couldn't kill him. Some of these people legitimately blamed the game for them not being able to get a 720, or being bad at the game and not being able to be like Zergriz, not realizing that it's highlights. And even Zergriz tries to win a game every once in a while. He might show you these spots, but in all honesty, I guarantee, if you look at any of his montages, he's always trying to win and play the objective. Get sprayed, son. But when you look at stuff like, then when you get into Black Ops, right? This whole Modern Warfare 2 hype came out, and people had a bad taste in their mouth from NoobTubes, and Track picked up on that, and they said Infinity Ward didn't patch, blah blah. I personally love Modern Warfare 2. I have enough to be 12th prestige right now in score, and it's sad that I didn't make it to 10th, but who cared, because they got hacked out of. But the game in itself was really fun, and then when Treyarch comes out, they go, we'll patch you guys really fast, all this stuff, and people just ate that up, people tried to NoobTube, and then the whole Second Chance Ghost thing came out, and it was just annoying. And then the first day they came out, Treyarch had sort of, you see people getting a lot of kills with the AK-47, and I know people that can't use it, and those people were complaining, and they immediately patched it. The next day there was a patch. And the thing I see about it is that was fuel to the fire, sort of, in the sense of, this is going to be a really bad Call of Duty. When that sort of thing happens, when the developers patch something like that hard, when they fix the AK-47U and literally say because it's overpowered, and then a couple of snipers, try to make them a little more powerful a couple weeks later, it kind of tells the community, alright, whatever you guys say goes, we think it's overpowered, whatever. It doesn't matter what the stats say, we'll back you up. And they started saying this gun's overpowered. And then it came to the notion where, snipers, it sort of evolved into this thing where it didn't matter that they were making sales because they were done selling their game. All that mattered was, let's see how we can get the most hype out of this game. And they were getting a lot of bashing from snipers, but everyone else was pretty content with the game. Sniping wasn't easy. It was something that I viewed was perfect after the first 2 patches, because you couldn't just run a lobby and just snipe. And then Treyarch kind of said, alright, we're gonna bend over right now, and we're gonna let you guys snipe all you want. You think that gun's overpowered? Alright, we're gonna tone it down a little bit. Besides the facts, the FAMAS wasn't overpowered. The G11 wasn't overpowered. It was a 2-burst kill. I don't care what you say. You might have saw 1 burst, but did you really have bat proof? And then when it comes up to all this patching, it ended up being the fact that it wasn't the developer's fault. I mean, sure, the game was slower, but that's what we asked for Modern Warfare 2. It wasn't that the game was imbalanced because we complained the crap out of the game over the stupidest things, so now we have a one-shot sniper all the time. It's more the fact that we have people complaining about stuff that shouldn't be complained about, and just having the fact that the game needs to be guided by the developers and actually step out and say, alright, is this really unbalanced? And that's why I believe that Black Ops had a slower life, and why Call of Duty's on the slope now, where if they don't keep it original and try to watch out for this people that are new and can't play, and not listen to them and keep it to the original status of gun on gun. Let's make it basic, and let's not overdo it with all this bullcrap. All right. So that was a little bit of history of how patching and whatnot has gone. I know I ran over the video a couple minutes, but that's okay. This is Action Predator. Sign out.